And what a game we're coming off of with that FEU DLSU down to the last possession pretty much with 2 something seconds left in that game. Tell me, what was the difference? And, if I may borrow, what happened in that game that could have gone either way?
I want to give credit to the FEU Tamaraos switching up their defenses. You'll see zone, you'll see man, switching up defenders on Jacob Cortez. I think this is his worst shooting game of the year.
Right.
I think 2 for 11 it might have been. But
2 for 14 nga yata.
Or 2 for 14. But the lack of variability on the DLSU side, it's going to be him initiating. It's going to be him actually either scoring or getting his teammates involved. So that's very, very tough for him to have to fight through all of that and all the changing defenses. But you got to give credit to FEU and what they did throughout the entire game. They got up by, I think, 12 points at one point. LaSalle being the well-coached team that they are, they clawed back and they were actually up by 1 at the end of the game, gave up a long pass for a layup. Had an opportunity to win the game at the end.
Couple of times. Couple of shots at goal.
They just couldn't get the ball to fall in, pinball. But then the free throw shooting up around 40% from the free throw line, that has to change for LaSalle.
Right.
Constant topic.
Yeah. Now I want to ask about your wish list for FEU. It's to continue to build around the main three guys.
Yeah, I call them the big three.
They're big three now, yeah.
Very, 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 very fun to watch. You have Kuya Bautista there.
Kuya Jorik.
Yeah, Kuya Jorik Bautista. And then you have January Pasol, who's, in the running for a mythical 5 seat. And then Kirby Mancopa, who is somebody that I enjoy watching.
Oh, I love watching him.
I call him Contratempo.
Yeah.
He's slow, fast. He can handle the ball. He's a triple threat on the floor. Can shoot from the outside, initiate offense, pass. And he can play inside, and he plays defense.
Yeah, I love watching Kirby, and he seems like he's unbothered. During games.
Cannot speed him up.
And this is great for a team that really lost, obviously, VJ Pre in the offseason to have somebody like this step up. DLSU, how do they recover here? Because everything to play for still for Final Four.
When you really put everything in perspective, they have opportunities to win. And if they can just do their job, knock down their free throws, the talent obviously is there, even though they lost a couple of their main pieces. And it's just sticking with the program, This is the formula. This is what we've done in the past to produce wins.
And you expect Jacob to come up with a big game?
I do expect a bounce back game. I think that they're going to come up with more creative ways to get him free to produce offense for them.
Okay, now, last game of the weekend, UP versus Adamson.
It was you were there.
Yes, I was there. I was in the crowd. Big lead for UP to start, but Adamson was inching back in up to the fourth quarter. Now, what do you think about that whole thing?
The Adamson, man, they always get themselves into this sticky stuff.
Not your typical UP Adamson game where you have UP trying to run, and Adamson trying to slow. It was largely an offensive game. I want to even shout out 2 players from Adamson in Ray Allen Torres and Matty Aralon.
Yes.
My goodness, 5 threes for Matty Aralon, 3 for Ray Allen Torres, and they were just putting on a shooting clinic. They were just like they're passing the ball, sprinting a la Steph Curry to get it back, and that's actually what brought them back in the game. It was the 3-point shot, something a little different from what you would usually see from a Nash Rosella coached basketball team.
Cedric Manzano inside usually and all of that. Yeah, down to 2, that lead by UP, but UP staying strong. Your wish list for the defending champions include their veteran Harold Alarcon and the newbie Noy Remogat, at least the newbie in UP.
Well, largely shot poorly. You had 1 made field goal for Remogat, and then I think 2 for the other guy that is trending so much for his masterful mid-range game.
Yeah,
but Harold Alarcon, we want to see a bounce-back game from those 2 because they're so fun to watch.
Look at that form. Look at that form of that jump shot.
You use the word prime time, and I think those 2 guys right there are very, very prime time. They're very fun to watch. Thankfully, Jerry Abadiano was consistent throughout the entire game.
POG.
Yep, and in the fourth quarter, I got to give shouts out to Raylin Torres and him.
Ganny Stevens.
Yeah, and Ganny Stevens.
Big guy.
Rebounding, offensive rebounding, making his layups. But the 3-point shot of Raylin Torres and the turnaround
dagger.
fadeaway.
Fadeaway a la
Kobe, looking like.
I was going to say a la Juan, but you want to say Kobe.
like Kobe. So you know what? They actually rescued the team.
Yes,
but
they did.
again, for them to be consistent and for them to win the bigger games, the biggest games, they're going to need Harold Alarcon and Ray Remogat to be on their A games.
Yes. Now for Adamson, bring the Nash clutch magic back.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Okay, so again, I speak historically. For Adamson to make it into the Final Four, it's came down to the last game. They've had knockout game after knockout game, historically speaking.
That's right.
And Nash comes up, Coach Nash comes up clutch in those games. I think he's second to none when it comes to game planning and preparing for a big game. So I'm expecting to see that this coming game. They need to win this game for them to be, even eligible, to have a chance to make it into the Final Four.
Shout out Coach Gilbert Lau too, because those two, right? As you know, those two work
peanut and butter
very well together. Well, thank you very much, and we're expecting an incredible home stretch
Yes,
for the
sir.
UAAP.
Yes, sir.
We're all gonna be
Thank you,
excited.
Coach.